The time is 5 o'clock, and here's the world news at 5. First, the top stories. Governor Musso says payment of new wage will depend on workers' productivity. Buhari approves recruitment of 6,000 more policemen, doubt state police. Presidency bans importation of codeine cough syrup. 27 people killed, 56 others injured in multiple explosions in Mobi, Adamawa State. On the foreign scene, gunmen kill 15 in a church in Bangui, the Central African Republic capital. Ethiopian Jews seek migration to Israel. I am Tobi Joseph, bringing the news in detail shortly. Governor Bukila Musa of Ogun State has said that the payment of the proposed national minimum wage by employers will largely be determined by the productivity of workers. Employers, according to the governor, can only pay the new wage based on their ability, which depends on the productivity of the workforce. The governor, speaking at the 2018 edition of the May Day celebration held at the MK Abiola International Stadium, Kuto, Abeokuta, warns that a higher wage being demanded without the corresponding fiscal capacity of the employers will remain an academic exercise. Amoson, represented by the Deputy Governor, Chief Mrs. Yetula Nanuga, told the workers that productivity is the basic platform for the reward of workers and their welfare, added that any other approach will amount to placing the cart before the horse. Earlier, the state chairman of the Trade Union Congress, Bumi Fajabi, says that civil servants of the state will not accept anything less than the proposed 66,500 naira minimum wage from the state government. Fajabi and the vice chairman of the state chapter of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Adare Lekoya, asked the governor to meet all the demands before he leaves office in May 2019. Police in Ogun State have arrested two men for allegedly gang raping a 14-year-old female hairdresser at Obantoko in Abeokuta during the last Saturday's environment and sanitation exercise in the state. The suspects, Abiodun Ishola and Kendi Oluede, were arrested by a team of police officers led by Obantoko Divisional Police Officer Veronica Osakwe, following a report of the incident by the girl. Spokesman of the State Police Command, Abimbola Oyemi, says the victim was on her way to her workplace, only to be informed that the monthly environmental sanitation exercise, during which movement is restricted, is still on. Oyemi explains that the two suspects who informed her of the movement restriction allegedly lured her into a room in their house and allegedly gang raped her. Her screams led to her being rescued by neighbors. The House of Representatives has promised to give a speedy passage to a bill on the proposed new wage for workers anytime it receives it from the presidency. The Speaker, Yakubu Dogara, gave the assurance in a message to mark the 2018 Workers' Day. Dogara says he is optimistic that the ongoing negotiations of the new national minimum wage by the tripartite committee will soon be concluded, after which the executive will transmit a bill on the new wage to the National Assembly for consideration and approval. The House of Representatives, according to the Speaker, understands the plight of the Nigerian workers in struggling to survive on wages that hardly last through the first week of the month. President Muhammadu Buhari has described an open letter written by former President Olusegun Obasanjo to him as abusive. Buhari, speaking in a special interview session with the Voice of America in Washington, D.C., says he did not want a reply to the letter. He recalls cautioning the Information and Culture Minister Alhaji Lai Mohammed not to react to the letter, but when the minister says he wants to highlight the achievements of his administration, he gave him a go-ahead. Obasanjo, in the open letter released last January 23, had faulted the programs and policies of the Buhari administration and advised him not to seek re-election in 2019. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the recruitment of 6,000 additional policemen into the police force to cope with the growing security crisis nationwide. Buhari, who made this known in a special interview session with the Voice of America in Washington, D.C., says he has directed the police authorities. The 6,000 policemen must be recruited from all the country's 776 local government areas. The president also joins the ongoing debate on the proposed state police force, which has already gained the support of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the Nigeria Governors Forum. Buhari warns that the proposed state police force would drain the financial resources of state government while still battling to pay workers' salaries. He also warns that it is dangerous for the state government under the proposed state police force to recruit people, train them on handling of arms, and refuse to pay their salaries. The presidency has banned the import of codeine containing cough syrup in the country. It directed the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control to immediately stop the issuance of permits for the importation of codeine as an active ingredient for cough syrup preparation. Instead, codeine containing syrup is to be replaced with dextromethorphan, which is less addictive. Health Minister Professor Isaac Adewale says the decision is taken due to the rising abuse of codeine usage in the country, particularly in the north. The minister also directed NAFDAC and the Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria to supervise the record for labeling and audit of cough syrups containing codeine. About 27 bodies have been recovered from the scene of Tuesday's multiple explosions in the commercial town of Mobi in Adamawa State. The Information Commissioner, Ahmed Sajo, says 27 persons were killed and 56 others injured in the explosions. He called for the donation of blood to save those critically injured in the bomb attack. The State Police Command, however, says only 24 bodies have so far been recovered. The town was once captured by Boko Haram forces in September 2014, but liberated by security forces on the eve of the 2015 polls. 50 worshippers were killed in another bomb attack on a mosque in the town in November 2017. You're still listening to the One News at 5 on Rock City FM News. Up next will bring you foreign, business, and sport news. Please do stay with us. At least 15 people, including a priest, have been killed in an attack on a church in the Central African Republic. Gunmen armed with grenades targeted the North Badam of Fatima Church in the capital Bangui during Mass on Tuesday. The incident took place in the predominantly Muslim PK5 neighborhood, where 28 people were killed during clashes last month. Local sources said that the death toll of Tuesday's attack was at least 15, while the French international radio station RFI quoted the Red Cross in the car as saying that at least 16 people have been killed and 99 injured. Angry crowds carried the bodies of the slain priest towards the presidential palace. The Central African Republic has faced several years of ethnic and religious conflict. The area has seen renewed violence in recent weeks. On the 10th of April, 28 people died after UN peacekeepers and local security forces launched an operation to clear PK5 of armed groups, leading to deadly clashes. Special Counsel Robert Mueller warned he could issue a subpoena for Donald Trump to appear before a grand jury as part of a probe into alleged Russian election meddling, according to a U.S. media report. Mr. Mueller suggested a move during talks with Mr. Trump's lawyers in March. He said a subpoena would compel the president to face investigators, the Washington Post report. It is believed to be the first time the special counsel raised the possibility of forcing Mr. Trump to testify. On Monday, the president criticized the New York Times for publishing more than 40 questions that Mr. Mueller wanted to ask him as part of the Russia investigation. Mr. Mueller's current list reportedly ranges from questioning the president's motivations in dismissing former FBI Director James Comey last May to his treatment of Attorney General Jeff Sessions after his recusal from the Russia investigation. Ethiopian Jews have appealed to the President of Israel to help them migrate there to be reunited with their members of their family. The request was made to President Reuven Rivlin by Jewish representatives at the start of his state visit to Ethiopia on Tuesday. Jewish leaders say nearly 80,000 people are stranded in Ethiopia, waiting to emigrate to Israel, claiming to be descendants of Jews who converted to Christianity years ago, mostly under duress. More than 140,000 Ethiopian Jews now live in Israel, many of whom were helped to move there by the Israeli authorities seeking to deport them to Africa. In April, Israel's government abandoned a plan to expel thousands of migrants, mostly from Eritrea and Sudan, after a court ruling and an outcry by rights groups. Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) has asked state governors to give autonomy to the State Internal Revenue Service. The agency chairman, Babatunde Fowler, made a call in Ilorin at the 15th meeting of the Joint Tax Board. Autonomy for State Internal Revenue Service, according to FIRS chairman, will enhance professionalism and improve the generation of more revenue for the state government. Fowler cites the example of Kwara State Governor, who, granting autonomy to the State Internal Revenue Service, has raised the state internally generated revenue. According to him, the autonomy has enabled the State Internal Revenue Service to raise the state IGR from 7.1 billion naira yearly in 2015 to 17.2 billion naira in 2016. Finally, in the World News at 5, Sport News. Nigerian international Wilfred Ndidi has been rewarded for an outstanding season in England with Leicester City Young Player of the Year award. The midfielder joined the King Power Stadium outfit in January 2017 and has grown into an essential part of the team. Ndidi impressed his first Premier League season and was named the club's best young talent in 2016 and 17 season. That was the World News at 5, and just before we go, the major stories once again. Governor Musso says payment of new wage will depend on workers' productivity. President Buhari approves recruitment of 6,000 more policemen, doubts state police. Presidency bans importation of codeine cough syrup. 27 people killed, 56 others injured in multiple explosions in Mobi, Adamawa State. On the foreign scene, we told you that gunmen killed 15 people in a church in Bangui, the Central African Republic capital. We also told you that Ethiopian Jews are seeking migration to Israel. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you so much for listening. I am Tobi Joseph. Good evening.